Hey guys, I'm Mohammed Hashir and welcome back to this video tutorial where we'll be learning how to create a web page builder or a mood board creation tool, which is kind of similar to InVision boards if you know what it is. Now I will explain what that is in a while, but before I begin, I just want to make this really clear to every one of you who have not used Bubble.is before. I'm sorry for the noise. Um, now, this one is basically, if you don't know what Bubble.is is, it's basically a web-based web app creation or mobile app creation tool that uses that requires you to not code or program. Instead, use workflows or visual programming for creating applications. It's really simple, but this is going to be a complex, or if not complex, but a really creative use of Bubble.is. So which means I will require you to have some not fundamental, but some experience with using Bubble.is before. Okay, so this is going to be an advanced use of Bubble.is. So if you've used Bubble.is before, if you created some applications before, this is the right place. But if you've not used Bubble.is before, I highly recommend you to go take a look. Not take a look, but go through the course that I have created for all beginners. On Bubble.is, it's going to take you through the process of creating your own first first web application, all the way from a to-do list application to a Google Keep-like application to a social network. You will need to understand those concepts, and then only should you come here. So I'll make this really clear again and again. This is going to be a slightly advanced. This is going to be for slightly advanced users. Okay, it's not difficult, but you do need to have some prior experience with Bubble. With that said, let's proceed with that. Okay, so basically, mood boards, if you don't know what it is basically again a web page, but the only difference is the use case itself. You do have some slight differences when it comes to features as well, but let me explain what mood boards is in just a minute. So basically, mood boards is a web page where you actually share all the progress, the screenshots, or I mean, who use this are basically the creatives, the designers, the graphics designers, the entrepreneurs, the creators, the makers, the people who are involved in the creative side of things. They actually collect inspiration or progress and everything in a single page. And more often than ever, these are used to collaborate or sort of or explain to the other person that this is where and how we're gonna proceed with the project. So this is an exam. I've actually done a lot of things before I started with this video. Let me make this really clear that I've done all the repetitive tasks. Okay, so like stuff, for example, also, by the way, before I begin, I also wanted to really make sure you guys know that there's a problem with my mouse here. I don't know why, but the okay, come on, yeah. My mouse doesn't recognize the difference between the left click and the right click. So if that annoys you, I'm really sorry. I'll try to fix that as soon as possible. But I really wanted to get this video up really soon. Anyways, with that out of the way, basically I just created a very simple. I did not import anything from the graphics, from any graphics editor or graphics software like Sketch or Photoshop. I just used the default. I just created a blank page using Bubble.is. I used a flat UI theme. If you want to know, it's the default theme. Okay, I did not customize anything here. Okay, so basically I just used the group here to do these things, and I just used some to create a simple sign up and login. Very simple stuff, very simple, boring. I mean, the same stuff. I just show you the workflow. So when the user is when the button is, sorry, when the user clicks on the login button, it will actually log the user in. When it clicks on the sign up, it will sign the user up. Simple stuff. We just plug in those values, and when the user is logged in, we go to the another page, which is the home page. Now on the home page, this is basically where the user is going to see all the websites or all the mood boards that I've created. Now, in my tutorial, I am mostly going to create a tool, something like Envision boards. That's how I envision it. But you guys can actually build upon this concept and create something really cool for your users. Okay, and you can even turn this into a business actually, if you can creatively use what I'm gonna show you. Okay, so if you can make out, I just created a very simple UI. There's a logout button, and I created a very simple. Oh, I did forget to show you on the data here. I just added one simple new data type here, which is called mood board, and I have only added just one field, which is called text, and it's a single value, which is the type is text. Okay, I clicked on that and I named it as title, basically the title of the website. That's all I did. When it comes to the mood boards, I did not touch the user. I've not done anything on the data set. Now, with that said, what I did is I added a repeating group to show all the mood boards that, I mean, the old web pages, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to refer to that as mood boards in my video here, but you can call it anything you want. Okay, so basically I named the type of the content as mood board, and the data source as I'm going to search for all the mood boards that are created by the current user. Basically, it's going to look for all the mood boards that have been created by the person who's logged in. Okay, when the user clicks on the create, I actually created a pop-up, and the pop-up is basically for creating a new mood board, and it's going to ask the name of the mood board you want. Oh, it's spelling of the mood board, by the way, is wrong. I did not notice that. Alright, so the next thing here is like I really don't want you to do this. I've not used this section here, but if we have time, I will try to give you guys a hint. But basically, what I wanted to do with this section is basically introduce how to create themes for your website. Basically, a user can choose a theme, which is typically how most of the web page builders today work. Now, in a mood board, you don't offer users a theme. So I just wanted to show you how it works, but in my use case, since it's not relevant, I'm not using this. I've just created a dummy part of it. Don't create this specific part. Just create a pop-up that says create a new mood board, an input field, and click on the create button. And when I create it, I will create a new mood board, which is a new, yeah. So the title will be the name of the value that's there. I'm not saving the theme here, remember that. It's purely optional. I have not done this, okay? And you may think that creating themes is very difficult, but trust me, it's actually easy. It's not difficult, okay? You can create your own bunch of presets that your users can use. Alright. I'm sorry, I just spoke a lot. So anyways, let's come back to the repeating group here. I just have the title of the mood board that is here. And what I did is I added a delete button, which is basically, as you can see, it just deletes the mood board. And then I have the edit here. Now, on the edit, it goes to the mood board page. If you want to know, check out the mood board page here. The type of the content is mood board here, so you will need to refer which mood board you're referring to. So on the section I said, I want to go to the mood board, and which mood board is whatever mood board that this current cell is in. So you'll need to go to that. So that's basically the workflow. Again, this will look like Greek and Latin if you've not worked with Bubble before. So I highly recommend you guys to go to take a look at it. Now, so far everything I showed you is repetitive stuff. Okay, I've already done this in a lot of other videos, but now what we're gonna do is something creative. All right. So this side of things, before I begin, I could have created this in the video, but since this designing stuff, it will typically take a really long time. It'll bore you guys. I did this beforehand. Okay. It's okay. If I don't create this, if I'm gonna sit down and create these icons and stuff, it will take a long time. So I'll show you what I did. So basically, I just put up a group here on the top, okay, which will basically contain the title of the web page. All right. If you notice, the user at the moment he cannot edit the title of the web page. So basically, in the home page, we need to have another option to change the title. As of right now, let's not do it, but later let's not. You know how to do that, right? If you don't know how to do that, trust me, it's easy. Don't worry about it. So in this point, what I did is I just added a group here, and on the group, if you want to know how I did this color stuff, it's basically just a gradient. Okay. Now on the background style, you have to use gradient, and I just used the default colors here. I mean, and then this is what you got. Fairly simple stuff. And then what I did is I added a text here, which will contain the text. I mean, again, like I said, the title of the web page. And the next thing I want to do is I added a group here. Basically, every web page is made up of components. Components, what I mean by that is basically chunks of divisions. Okay, either a web page is going to be built of probably a paragraph section, or he's going to have a section where he's going to show off all the photos. Okay, so if he's going to click on this a section for all the user can type in some text here. That section is going to be created, and then he's going to click on this. Another block is going to be created below that, and that's going to be the section for images. Now here's the question you might ask. Okay, so basically text can be simple as a social network we already did. Basically we're just going to create some text here, and the user is going to be able to edit those texts. But how about images? Because images is going to be a gallery, and you already have a repeating group here. And how are you going to let users submit multiple images inside a multiple repeating group? Okay, it is basically nothing but I'm going to use a repeating group inside of a repeating group. Okay, now let me make this also really clear that you can have as many kinds of subsections as you want. Probably this is just, like I said, this is going to be a paragraph and there's going to be an image. Now the whole web page is only going to be built of these two kinds of elements. But after I show you how to do this, you can create multiple kinds of blocks, and users can build off a web page out of those content. Alright, this is another group I created. Basically, it's just a group with an icon. These do nothing if I click on it, as you can see, because that's the purpose of this video. And I also created another group here inside of the repeating group, and this repeating group it has no type because I've not created those type here. This is going to be I'm sorry. Yeah, there's going to be like an edit icon, and there's going to be deleting the section here. Okay, I put this inside of this. Basically, it's an off-white color on the background. I used the pure white for this group, and I just put these cute little icons inside. So let's go ahead and start building the first section. So this is basically going to be sections, right? So let's go ahead to data and click on type here, and I'm going to create a new type called block. Okay, every block is going to be a part of a mood board. Okay, basically a block can be any type. It can be images, it can be text, or anything, right? So a mood board has to refer to a mood board, right? So let's go down here, select a mood board, create. This is basically going to be a reference. Okay. I'm really sorry. Alright, if I'm going to click on this here, you want to click on start a workflow, and you want to go ahead and data settings, create a new thing. You're going to go create a new block. Okay, do the same thing here with this. Alright, and we're going to go create a new block. Okay, now a new block is going to be created, but we don't. Okay, we're going to change the type of the content to be block. We're going to do a data source, as do a search for all the blocks that have been referenced to the current mood board. Okay, so if again, let me make this really clear. It might sound like Greek and Latin if you have not used Bubble.is before. Alright. Oh, come on, close this up. Alright, so the basic stuff is complete. The most important thing is the blocks. Okay, there are going to be two kinds of blocks. Now I cannot simply just put in a text here, and let's say if the user is going to click on text, this is going to come up. And if I click on image, an image is going to be created. No, it's not going to be very simple as that. What we're going to do is we're going to display either of the kind of content it's creating. I know it's a little difficult, but let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to create two kinds of groups here. Let me go ahead and draw a group here, okay? I'm gonna center it vertically and center it horizontally. And I'm gonna change the background color to none because I just don't want. And let me put it like this. And alright, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a texture, and I'm gonna draw it like this, and I'm gonna center it horizontally. This is going to be the text section, okay? And then we're gonna do the gallery section, okay? The user is going to be building multiple chunks of these kinds of elements. I'm going to change this to heading and oh sorry, heading, and I'm going to change the style to heading. Sorry, center title medium. All right, I guess that's cool. And then we're going to have the whole paragraph here. All right, center horizontally, and the style is body. Okay. Alright, let me go ahead and, you know what, edit the style here, make it center, okay? And so heading is going to be lorem ipsum, type in your textual content here by editing this block. Okay, so this is going to be a simple instruction or placeholder. And if I notice, if I actually move this element, the whole thing will just move, okay? Simple stuff, but just showing you guys, okay? Something that you guys are already used to. Anyways, what I'm gonna do now is, by the way, you need to work on the responsiveness. I'm not gonna do that in this video. Right, just go fix it. Okay, this is gonna be the textual element. What I'm going to do is, for now, just note down the group ID here. It is group D, okay? Just remember that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the element is visible on page load. I'm going to uncheck that, okay? Now let's go ahead and create another section here, which is for the, oops, let me go ahead and switch that up. You can check out the exact, center it vertically, center it horizontally. Oh, come on. This mouse is just annoying me. Anyway, background style is none. And what I'm going to do is, inside of this group, I'm going to create a repeating group on top of this. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to stretch this exactly to the width and height of the this page. Alright, looks like we're perfect vertically, horizontally. Alright, so let me go ahead and separate this. You know what, I don't need a separator. Alright, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have multiple columns, because there's going to be, okay, I'm going to have that. Let's add a separator just to see what's happening, okay? Okay, we want to reduce the rows here. This one looks okay, right? Let's go ahead and change the color to be extremely light. Okay, so this is going to be the where the user is going to upload images. So I'm just going to add a image on top of the repeating group. Yeah. All right. You can just stretch this as much as you want. All right. All right. So you want to change the dynamic image here. Oh, by the way, you will need to also block. We're gonna have. Alright, so let's just do something here. So go ahead and create a new type here, which is image block, okay? Alright, and image block is going to be having just an image here. Alright, field type is image. Let's click on create here, and that's going to be the image block, okay? So on the repeating group, select that and say type of the content is repeat image block. And you know what, we're going to refer this to a block here, which is, if you remember what block is, basically block is the is what the whole page uses, okay? Block reference, which is which block does this image block refer to. So I'm going to click on that. Field type is create, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this section here. Okay, I think it's perfect. So I'm going to click on dynamic image here and insert dynamic data, current cells image block image. Okay, that's going to display the images here. So we're done with the images section. The only thing we need to do is we're going to say type of the content as probably block, and we're going to say current cells block on the data source. Okay, this is going to be for this block. Okay, we're going to uncheck the element is visible on page load. Uncheck that. Let's go back to group D here. I did forget something. Even this type of content is a block. Okay, it's going to be a block here, and the data source is going to be current cells block. Okay. All right. So one thing we want to do is that on the block here, we can also create another block for text block, but I don't want to do that because it's gonna it's not necessary. Okay, let's go ahead and click create a new field here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say the field name as the block type here. Okay, and the reason is because there are two types of blocks. Now, of course, you can use a boolean for this. I would highly recommend you to use a number here. Basically, one is for a text block and two is for an image block. So I'm gonna click on create here, and time is really it's just prolonging. Anyways, so I'm gonna add like a new block here, block type here, which is number, and I'm gonna create another field type here, which is text heading. Just follow me and I'll tell you guys what is happening. Okay, click on text here, and I'm gonna add another one here, text paragraph. Okay. Field type has text again. Great. Okay. Fair enough. Now on the heading here, let's go ahead and change the oops. Let me go back here. Insert dynamic for the heading, parent groups, blocks, text heading, and for this paragraph, oops, shit, man. You want to enter parent groups, blocks, text paragraph. Okay, so that's going to be there. Alright, so that's going to be it for the repeating group, and we got those two blocks ready inside of the repeating group. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to say that on the conditional tab, right, we're going to say this group when this group's block, okay, block type is, let's change this block type as 1, okay? Okay, let me just, okay, before I come to that, okay, just do this, okay? Conditional for this text block here, add when this group's block type is 1, change the visibility to true, okay? By default, it's false. Remember that, all right? And do the same thing. You know what? Let me do that first, and then I'll come back to this. Go back to image block here. Now this is a block here, which is yeah. So you're gonna go to the conditional tab. This is for the image block, okay? I'm gonna come here and say, don't worry, it's not overlapping. It's basically on the editor. But if I refresh the page, the whole thing will go off. Don't worry about it, okay? I mean, it will settle. When I go to the image block, not the repeating group, but the image block. You remember, I added. You can see here on the on this editing window here. If I'm gonna click on the image block here, don't choose this. I have a group on top of this, which is block. Okay, remember that. So basically, I'm gonna choose. Oh, but either way, you need to choose the image block here and go to repeating group back again. Go to data source, do a search for. All right, and on the type, just choose. This is on the repeating group, please remember that. So I'm going to choose image block here. And you want to add a constraint. And the constraint is basically block reference is equal to the parent group's block. I'll tell you what I mean is basically this repeating group is inside of this group, which is basically a block, okay? So it's saying that the repeating group should display the data that is from this this parent groups block, okay? I know it's really difficult to follow. I mean, it's really funny when I'm saying this, but don't worry about it. It will just settle, okay? Let me go back to this one here. Now, when the current cells block type is 2, we want to change the visibility to true, okay? If you can see what I'm doing here, you would understand. Like, okay, let me make this. Okay, let me go ahead and click on this now. Okay, now you can have buttons for these icons. You don't really have to have icons. Don't worry about it. If you don't know how to do any of these things, if you're not a designer, it's okay. Okay. First, if you're doing this for the first time, the goal should be to understand Bubble. It should not be to be the best designer. Okay. Anyways, with that said, this is going to be creating a block type, which is block one. Okay, we already did create a new block. We're gonna specify the the block type to be what? One. All right, that's enough. And if I click on one, the text section will be created. So if I click on this now, on the text, I mean this icon, it's gonna create a block, and the block type is going to be two. All right, that's it. So basically, now if I go ahead and test it out, okay, I will show you. If I click on the texture, oh, what happened? Uh, Something is happening here. Oh, okay. You'll actually have to go ahead and create a mood board. Let me go ahead and, you know what, to create a new account here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like fast forward this part here. Oh, don't want actually. You know what? Name.com. Like pass 1, 2, 3. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just create a test account. Test account. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and create a new mood board, which is tutorial. I'm gonna call this tutorial. Oops. Alright, tutorial. And this thing doesn't work, so it's okay. I'm gonna edit this. Alright. I'm gonna click on the textual part. Hey, it should work. What's happening? Alright. Something's happening here. Let's check what's the problem here. So we're choosing the blocks. The mood board is going to be the current mood board. You know what? Let's delete this for now and see if the data is being created or not. Okay. Let's see. Let's check it out for now. But you could see that the data is being created, and you can see that these many types have been created, but you can't see those elements, right? There's some problem there. Let's go check it out. What's the problem? Let's go and investigate that. So we have a group here, and the conditional type is if the group is visible, is type is 1, we're gonna make it visible. Otherwise, it's gonna be invisible, right? So what's the problem? Oh. Okay, we did a mistake here. Let me go and show you guys what I did. When the block is created, we need to refer to which mood board is going to be referring to. The mood board is the current page mood board, and do the same thing over here. Let's go ahead and change that to the mood board is equal to the current page mood board. So let me go back here and let me choose this here, and the data source is going to be again going to have the constraint mood board is equal to the current page mood board. That way it's settled, I guess, and also this mood board here. Data source is going to be the current cells block. It's going to display the content. Alright, I guess it's working here. Let's go ahead and preview this now. Alright. I'm going to edit. And this should create the content. Alright, this is just creating the content. Oh, by the way, how did I forget it? We don't have any text here to be showing here, right? It's creating the content, but it's not showing it. The reason is because we don't have any content to begin with. So let's go ahead and add the content editor now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pop-up here for editing the content. So basically, this is going to be like I'm going to add a text instruction, which is like edit text block. All right, and I'm going to just choose that and make this a heading here. All right, centered horizontally, and I'm gonna add like a button here, which is alright. Let me go ahead and change the text to save changes. Alright, centered horizontally, yeah, like this. should be okay, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to choose a text here. Oops, not text, input. I'm going to say heading text. I'm going to add a multi-line input text here, and that's going to be a long text, so it's going to be your main text here. Oops, yeah, text here. And on the pop-up, you need to mention the type as, I mean, not here. Yeah, where is that? On the pop-up, you need to mention the type of content as block, and the data source as don't do anything with the data source. Just leave it as it is, okay? And on the save changes, you need to go and start edit workflow. Click on that, and you need to go to data, and then you need to say make changes to a thing, and that should be the parent group's block. And the fields that you need to change is the heading and the paragraph, okay? Basically, I'm referring to the database here, and I'm going to save the changes of this block here. The heading is going to be whatever's the value here. The paragraph, the main content is going to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the save changes here. Go continue that editing. Text heading should be whatever is the value in that heading value, and multi-lines value for the paragraph. That's going to be it. And after that, I'm going to hide this. Element actions, go to all elements, click on hide, and you're going to hide this block, okay? Alright, so that's going to be okay. We're going to also duplicate this. So if you want to duplicate this entire block, I'm going to choose Command D or Control D on Windows, okay? And I'm going to choose if you can see, I have two pop-ups now, okay? I'm sorry, I just duplicated it. Or you can just click on this whole pop-up and click on edit and then duplicate. Okay, I think there's an option to duplicate it. Or you have to click on Control D. Okay, that's enough. Alright, so for the images, we're just gonna have edit image block or edit gallery. No, images block. Okay, images block, and instead of text, we have images. So we're basically gonna have image uploader. Not edit images block. We're gonna have like add image block. Okay. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna say picture uploader, add image. So basically, he's gonna add those images. All right. He's gonna be able to edit the images as well, but let's go ahead and choose add for now. I'll tell you what I can do with it. Let me resize this. Let me go back up. All right, it's gonna save changes here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this part here and change the pop-up type to image block. Alright, image block, and go to save changes. And you want to save changes to the current image block. Actually, you know what? Instead of make changes, you need to actually go ahead and create a new, create a new thing. Just we're gonna create a new image block, and the image is going to be the parent group images image. What's this? How do I say? Parent groups images image. And it's really difficult, but let me show what I'm trying to do is basically. Oh no. Oh, picture uploader's value. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So what I have to do is we're going to create a new image block, and the value of the image value is going to be whatever is in the picture upload, which is here. But one thing we did not mention is which block does it correspond to. So it corresponds to the parent group images block. Okay. I'm sorry. Blocks. Wait. Block reference. Yeah, this is okay. So you have to say block reference this is image block. Okay, this pop-up, and this is going to be referring to a block, which will be pointing out in the edit button. Okay. Now, one thing to remember is that when it comes to images, this button will when we're adding the images, this button is going to be changing to what? We're gonna add another condition. We're gonna say. We're going to say that the group C, this type of the content should be a block, okay? Alright, define another condition. What we're going to say is, not on the block, I'm sorry, on the icon here. when the parent group's block type is 2, all right, which is if it's an image block, if this cell is an image block, what we're going to do is we're going to say the icon should be changed to plus, like this, okay? A plus button instead of edit button, okay? The text and the hovering and the size of this is the same because I'm not changing any of the other controls. Also, to remember, this block has to be referring to, on the appearance, the data source has to be pointing towards current cell's block. You're not going to do a search for in the case of this because this is a static element, okay? So one thing while we're at this, let's click on this here, this delete button and start a workflow. This is the most simplest stuff we always do on the data. Delete the thing which is the parent group's block. Okay, the parent group is basically this block, and this block is basically the block that he's in. I'm sorry, the current cell that he's in. All right. I hope that's absolutely clear. Let's proceed to the edit icon, which is the most important stuff. So let's go and start a workflow. So we're gonna have like two sections, one for image block. We're gonna say, so let's go ahead and create two actions, start data things. I'm gonna say may wait. Um, okay, wait. What you're gonna do is you're gonna say element actions. I'm gonna say on the group select display data. Okay, and just follow what I'm doing, and you'll understand what I'm trying to do. Is on the element you have to choose the block. Now we're gonna create a text block here, so we're gonna be displaying the text block. It's not displaying actually; it's just referring. Now it's gonna be displaying the data, which is the parent group's block. Okay. All right. I know it's a little confusing, but let me show you. On the block here, we have the type of the content is block. Which block? It has to be referring to the current cells block. That's what we're doing here. Okay. And then once we have pointed towards which block we're talking about, then we can show the block, okay? Because otherwise it will be pointing towards the wrong. You can be editing any one of these sections, okay, or blocks. So we're pointing exactly to which block, and then let's go to the block here, image block here, and you know what? I forgot to hide this image block here. All right. It's cool. All right, let's go to the edit here again. What we're gonna do is we're gonna say using the only when. We're gonna display this. I mean, we're gonna place a condition here. This action should happen only when the block type is 1, which is a text block. Okay, we're gonna add the same condition to the block type here, and we're gonna say the parent block type is 1. I'm sorry, 1. This thing is gonna happen. But now we're gonna add for 2 because remember this icon changes to plus icon if it's going to be an image section, right? So let's go ahead and change that now. You're going to start workflow, and let's say element action display data, and we're display pop-up image block, and data to be displayed. We're going to show the parent group's block. Okay, let's hold on. Let's go ahead and check this out here. You know what? Let's change the type of the content to block here. And on the save changes, we're gonna. Oh shit! Come on. The block reference should be the parent group's block. You know what? Just change that. Okay. I'll tell you how to do that. All right. Let's go to the edit now, and we're gonna display uh, the uh, the pop-up block, which is actually not the images block, and the data to be displayed is the parent group's block. Okay, and that is going to happen only when the parent group's block type is 2. All right, just follow along. I know it's a little hard, but let me follow. Let's go ahead and element actions and show, which is the pop-up images block. Okay, guys, just bear with me and let's check this out together now. I think we're almost there. Okay, let's go ahead and edit here. Okay, there's a little bit of problem here, and that's basically we have created. You know what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete all of this block here. Let's go ahead and create a text block. Okay. I don't know why we got two sections. It's supposed to show only one. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do something is so it's workflow. Oh, I didn't forget this. We need to add this condition only when the parent group's block type is 2. Forgot to add that condition there. Let's go ahead and check this out again. Alright, so if there's no problem, it's just a little bit of bug. Click on edit. Okay. Welcome to my website. Okay, and the main text here is this is my awesome text. Okay, save changes, and you can see my stuff there. Okay, so you can also build content like that. Okay, let me go down here. I've added an image block here. You can see the plus button. Now let's go and add some image here. And I'm just going to select some random image here that I have downloaded a long time ago. And the image is actually there, but you can't see it. I don't know why, because there's a problem with that image. Oh, by the way, you can actually add another one of these sections here for editing. I mean, if you go top, you can create another pop-up for editing a specific image block. Okay, now that we've completed the most important and the boring part of creating the feature that allows users to be able to create and delete data blocks or chunks of data, let's go ahead and turn our attention to some of the most important parts in presentation. So first thing is when if you remember the first bug, the first time when we tested it, when we created a block, we didn't even know the block was created. The reason is because there was no default data. And and before I do that, first of all, let's change the static text to a dynamic data, and that is, okay, this group is, the type of content is just nothing. That's okay. Let's go back to this thing here. It doesn't need to be any type of content. Just select current pages mood boards title. All right, that's going to be displaying the title of this mood board. That's the default title. Now I'm also going to be I'm going to add a feature which will let users change this title from this page. I remember I told you guys I will be adding a feature to edit. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, before I go to that one, let's go back to mood board here. And remember, I told you guys the default text. Okay, let's go back to the data here, and on the block section here. You can add a default texture. Okay, so let's say, for example, heading, and the default paragraph to something like some textual description. Okay, I hope this fixes. Okay, yeah, that's enough. Alright, so this is going to be some default text here, heading. So what will happen is every time a block is created, a default heading and a default paragraph will be created. With this content, so that the user knows that that the content is created, and he can click on the edit button and edit that text. Okay. Another thing that we need to polish is the thing here. On the initial content, click on insert dynamic data, say parent groups blocks text paragraph, and the same thing goes to initial content, parent groups blocks text heading. Basically, what I'm doing is if there's no content, it will be blank. But let's say, for example, if he's going to edit an existing content, the whatever is the content in that current block will be displayed here. That will be the initial content. Now you can change it, of course, by clicking on this button. And there's something else that I want to tell you about. Before we close this block, we have to reset the inputs. Inputs can be anything. It can be a text field, multiple field input. You can see all these input forms, right? If you use any of these, when you use the reset inputs, all of those fields will become empty, so that it becomes clean when you actually reusing it. So let's go ahead and do that for everything else. I'm gonna add reset input here. Okay, so I guess we're down to the last thing and the most interesting stuff. All right. Oh yeah. By the way, before I proceed to that, I want to talk about about this a little bit here. Um, Instead of using this group here, which is like really boring, it is also a very bad user experience because in this case here, if I want to actually add a new section or a new block, let's say I have already added 3 blocks here, which means that I'll be somewhere over down here, right? Now, if I want to add a block, I have to scroll all the way to the top and click on this button and go all the way to the bottom here, right? That's a really boring thing to do. So if you want to fix that, you can use something called floating group, okay? What you can do is you can just add it here and then put it inside the floating group and center it horizontally and center it vertically. Alright, and then you just center it horizontally. What this will do is you can actually, if you scroll up or down, this particular group will follow you. But you know what? Actually, I'm not going to do that. The reason is because I don't want it to follow. And the only reason for that is because actually there will be content here, right? And you don't want, when you scroll down, you don't want this to be disturbed. So my suggestion is change this horizontal arrangement to vertical like this instead of like this, all right? Make it vertical and place it to the side and add a floating group. That way, it does not disturb the content. When you're scrolling down, it does not disturb the content. Of course, this is only for the creator or the content editor, but the ones viewing the content will not be able to see this. All right. So let's go ahead and turn our attention to some of the one of the most important things that you may be looking out for. Okay, before that, we're gonna have actually another button here. In case you wondered if you're gonna ever have that, it's called view page. Okay, and view is what everybody will be able to view. It's sort of okay. So let's leave it like this for now. Let's change the content type to probably info type. All right, I'll just leave it like this for now. All right, we'll add the view feature later because we don't have the view feature. This is actually the edit page, by the way, so we don't have the feature yet. But okay, let's talk about templates now. Okay, now templates is really it's not complicated, but it's sort of like it really is contextual. It really depends. Okay, you can have templates or editable content for every single element or for the whole page. I know it's a little difficult to understand, but let me explain that. Now, in this case, for this tutorial, I will demonstrate how to only change this portion, okay? uh, the templates that I'm going to be building will only change this part of it, okay? But you can apply the same technique to every single part of the web page, and it will work. It will work fine. So, for example, you can create a template that will change the font of the body texture, right? For example, this is not this one here, but this one here. Probably if you want for certain templates, I don't know, maybe if you want circular images, you can do that. But for that, you will need to understand one thing here. Let's jump to the data tab now. There's one thing I want to turn your attention to, and that's mood board, okay? Alright, now first thing you want to do is you want to add a new field here. And I'm going to call this as template, okay? And the field type as number. And just follow me and I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to create. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create presets, okay? And these presets or templates have to be have to be planned and designed in advance so that you can actually implement it properly here. Okay, so those presets are something that we're going to design now. So let's go ahead and add a pop-up menu here first for this template thing here to customize the banner here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say add a text here to customize header, okay? Header, right? And I'm going to change the style to like heading 1, and then I'm going to put it like in the center. Alright, center horizontally, and I'll put it like this. Alright, that's cool now. Let's center it horizontally again. We'll do that. Alright, center horizontally. Alright, that's cool now. Let's go ahead and change the let's go and add an input here, which is going to be where you're just going to enter the title of the sketch. So I'm going to type in, oops, we change the placeholder to title of the mood board, and I'm going to add like a button here to save changes, not so big, like this probably. Save changes, and you can have another button for like changing it to default, but I'm gonna leave it like this, alright? And a button, a couple of templates here like this, alright? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually put a couple of other groups here. Other groups, when I say other groups, I mean to say, look, let's go ahead and add only 2 templates now for now, okay? I'm gonna add like this, add some roundness to it so it looks better. And I'm gonna add another another group here. Alright, so I'm gonna like stretch it like this, alright, and I'm gonna put it like this, and probably this should be okay. Or centered horizontally again. This should be okay. Centered horizontally. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add like choose template 1, which is basically choose template 1. You have to sort of spend some time into making this presentable, and the way you can make this presentable is let me first add. Okay. And the way you're going to make this presentable is by either adding a screenshot of a template here, okay, or you can probably draw some illustrations or icons, or use these groups and shapes and icons to illustrate the template. Now, I have actually worked on this kind of project before, but yeah, I'm just gonna demonstrate the background here. So one of the backgrounds is background style and use gradient, and I'm just gonna duplicate this left. One of these colors was this, and the other color was somewhere around this. Right? It doesn't look exactly that, but it's somewhere around the same color. Okay, that's one template, and the other template I'm gonna add is probably, let's go ahead and red here, and the other color would be somewhere in yellow, right? Let's change that to left, right, and then you know what, change that to somewhere around like this color. This looks cool, right? Alright, so like so. Alright, so the user will be able to choose the banner color centered vertically. Oh, come on. Alright, this is okay. Alright, so this is how it's gonna work. I'm gonna add roundness here to take somewhere around 10. This also to 10. Alright, so I'm gonna the user is gonna choose one of these templates and it's gonna be reflecting. Alright, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna change the pop-up, see the type of the content to mood board, and when I'm gonna click on the template 1, I'm gonna say make changes to a thing, and that will be the current page mood board, and the thing I want to change is the template here to 1, and if he's gonna select the second button here, he's going to make changes to a thing, and current page mood board, because the current page mood board is basically the pop-up as well. So the template is going to be basically 2. Sorry, not 1. It's going to be 2. Change that. Alright, that's going to be changed there. But the user will not be able to find out that this is what is selected. So the way you're going to select is you're going to say if the you want to change that, right? So first, this group should be not block, but a mood board, and data source of parent group's mood board. Okay, let's do that. Let's do it like that. Mood board, and you know what? Let's use this, and this one also has mood board. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back here. When the parent group's mood boards template is 2, you want to just hold it like I just copy this, and let's paste it out here as well for this group, and we're gonna change the 2 to 1 for this. All right, you want to say the border style. Let's change the border. Like let's add some green uh, border around it. So border style, all border should be solid, and border uh, width of it should be 1. Border color, let's change that to like not white, but let's change it to something like somewhere in like this kind of green, right? This kind of green, it's okay. So I'm gonna change that width to oops, shit. Okay, let me go ahead and copy this condition back to this one here. Which what's gonna happen is I'm gonna change this to 2. I'm gonna remove this. Let's check this out. So what's gonna happen is this template is gonna be reflected. Before that, the data source is gonna be current page mood board for the whole pop-up because we're editing the settings for this. This page here. So yeah. So once the title of this thing is changed, I think it's too huge. But anyway, let's just leave it like this. All right. Let's sort of bring it like this so it looks better. Let's put it something like this. It's okay, right? Alright, let's go ahead and click on the save changes now. And I'm gonna go ahead and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like make changes to a thing. And one more thing to remember: parent groups mood board. And the only thing I'm gonna change is the title here because the template is already reflected. It's already changed when I click on that button, template 1 actually. Alright, so I'm going to say input title of the mood board's value. So that's going to be changed here, and as soon as I do that, you want to actually hide this pop-up block, okay? No, not this one, the mood board block. The pop-up, okay? And then you want to actually add the initial content to parent group's title. Alright, so let's go ahead and make a couple of changes here. You want to add a block here, like this. And instead of having a delete button, because that's not what we need, I'm going to put it like this. Centered horizontally and centered vertically. And I'm going to put this like not gonna have anything with this. Alright, let's go back to the size here. Let's change the size to something like this. Vertically, okay. So I think now it's perfect. I hope so. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on this edit icon here, start edit workflow, and then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say on the edit icon, I'm gonna say only show the pop-up because pop-up mood board. That's the mood board here. All right, so that's enough actually. Let's go ahead and preview this now. Everything should work perfectly fine. And something else to remember, you may want to actually add the ability for users to display images in full screen. I've already done that before, but if you don't know how to do that, basically you have to go ahead and the navigation, click on open external website. Basically we're going to open up the the URL of the image. So basically current cells image blocks image URL. So that's going to be opening up the image itself. So let's go ahead and preview that. Let's go, oops, sorry, refresh here. Okay, so I'm going to be able to change that template here. Oh, I did not. Okay, by the way, I did not actually change that. So let's go ahead and click on the banner here. Let's say current page mood boards template is 2. When it's 2, what we're going to do, you're going to change the background style to gradient starting color and ending color. We're going to change that here. Basically to whatever is the value that is there. Now I'm just going to change it roughly. This is actually not the exact color, but you know what, it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and preview this now. Let's go ahead and change it right now to template 2 hello. Okay, and save here. Oh, it did not change. Let's go ahead and let's go back to the home page here. Let's go to wait. Let's go to make changes to a thing title. Hey, I think everything's working fine. I don't know what's going wrong. Let's go and preview this actually. There are two issues, by the way. Or I don't know. I don't need to have that condition. All right. Let me go ahead and click on edit here, right? And what I get here is a tutorial. Let's go ahead and change the setting here to probably template 2, and boom, you can see that. Okay, here's something you want to know. If I would change it to template 1, boom, it comes back to that. So if I added a text now, let's go down and check it out. Oh, you can see down here, just below this, we have the default text that we added here. But we can edit this text like so, and stuff could happen. Alright, so that's basically we created a web page builder. Now there's something else that's important that's left. Okay, and that's the web page itself and what users are going to share. With mood board, you want the ability for users to always be able to edit the content that's in this page. Okay. But in the case of website, when you're sharing the web page, you don't want the user to be able to edit all the contents of this web page. And that's as simple as, one way of doing this is you want to restrict the access to this page by saying on the workflows, I'm going to do that, but it's going to take not a long time, but I'm just going to sort of cut it short and explain it to you guys, and probably this could be an assignment or a challenge for you. What you can do here is you could say, if the current user, who's basically the person who's logged in, if he's not logged in, if the person who is using this page is not the owner of this page here, then he should be redirected to the index page. Now notice one thing here. If I redirect him to the index page, it basically means that he's not the user, he's not the creator of this page. Or basically you want to have some collaboration. Or probably what you can do is you can go to data here and the mood boards, and you can actually have something called probably accessors or something like that. Well, people who are going to be able to access this. And that could be a type called users, and you can make this multiple entry. And what that will actually happen is you can allow certain types of users or certain users to only be able to access this page. You can do that if you want to. That's kind of what it is. That's kind of how it is in InVision boards. Now, if you want to do that, you can do that as well. But so, anyways, yeah. So one thing to remember is on the index page, if the user is not logged in, if he's logged in but he's not the owner of the web page, then he's actually not going to see the index page, although I'm redirecting him to the index page if he's not the creator of this mood board. What will happen is, if you remember in the index page, if he's logged in, he will be bounced back to the home page, which is the home for every logged in user. And the home page will be curated based on, will be different for every user. Basically, it displays all the mood boards created by him himself. Okay, I want to add another page here, and that's basically going to be view. I'm just going to call this view here, and I'm going to clone mood board. And the only thing that's different from here, of course, everything is just copied here. I'm just going to remove all of this added element here. Okay, and that's all basically it. Anything else, I don't know. Now you should be able to go back to home here and click on the view, and then you can go start a workflow. You want to go to the page, which is basically view and the data to send is current sales mood board. Alright, the user can now share this page. This is basically his website, okay? And all the data that he's going to be editing from this part will be transferred to view, because this is using the same data set, which is mood board. Alright, so that's basically it. And so yeah, once you actually clone it, remember that not every single changes you make to mood board will be copied onto view, because basically I just cloned it. Now after that, any changes you make to the mood board has to be copied onto view with obviously remembering that you don't want to enable editing options for those people who are viewing the content, right? So yeah, just make sure that's there, and I'll just leave it to with these things for you. Um, you can have as many templates as you, I mean, as many presets that you want. You can create those by yourself. Probably you can have, you know, half text and half image. I'm sorry, half text and half image here, left and right, right and left. You can have another preset for the ability to users. I mean, for the ability to users to be able to add videos, audio, and stuff into their web page or mood board. You can do that as well, and you can do all kinds of stuff, right? And I did tell you guys I'm going to change this add images block to add images. Add image actually. Alright, then I'm just going to leave it with this. Okay guys, with this said, now I will conclude it. So I hope I did get my message across. If not, I'll be open to clarify any of your questions that you may have. Remember to understand the concept of this template here. You can apply this to every single part of this page here. Okay, I just used template for one part. Now you can use this across anything. Okay, so anyways, I hope the concept is clear. If not, I will be really glad to answer any of your questions in the comment section below, or you can reach me via my email or Twitter or anywhere you can get in touch with me. I'll be glad to help you out. If there's anything else I may want to add, yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to get the ready-made version of this website here, you can purchase it from for myself. I'll probably polish this app here. When I give it to you guys, I will not give it to you in this condition. Uh, it is going to be similar to this because basically I'm going to edit the same app, but I'm going to make some changes, and I'm going to be able to. I'm going to actually change. I'm going to polish this app here. And if you're not able to follow this tutorial, and if you're never able to follow this tutorial, and you think you'll never be able to follow, what I'll do is I'll actually customize this, I'll polish this app, and if you email me or if you get in touch with me, the details to that will be in the description of this video. If you get in touch with me, I can actually sell this application to you, and you can use this in any way possible. Okay, the possibilities of what you can do with this lesson is absolutely limitless. You can create any kind of tool with this technique that I showed you. So with that said, I shall see you guys in another video very soon. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and yeah, that's it.